Okay, welcome to Bitrix24 Live. I'm Damien Edwards, the Commercial Manager of Interface with Bitrix24 Gold Partners. And with me I have our Technical Manager, Andy Naylor.
Hi guys, so we're going to be here for the next hour answering any questions that you may have on Bitrix24. So whether you're using the cloud version of Bitrix, from the free version up to the professional version, or the on-premise version, we can show you live on screen any answers to any questions or queries that you may have. Like I say, we're going to be here for the next hour, as long as we keep getting those questions in. If you do have any questions that come to mind throughout the week, please do send them over to sales@interface.com and we can answer them at the start of the next session. So even if you can't make these sessions and you ask a question, they are recorded and posted live straight to the Bitrix24 YouTube channel after the session, so you can always catch up on those answers that you might have missed. I do believe we have a few questions that have come in.
Yeah, we do. Can I set calendar invites out? Sorry, can I send calendar invites out to my CRM contacts? Let's have a look. So, can you? I mean, from a calendar, I think you can associate a CRM contact. Let's have a look from a contact page first of all. So, you can create an event, of course, from a CRM contact. We can create a meeting here. I can choose the date and time. I can invite different users of the system in, and sorry, this is the contact, this is the CRM contact, and this is the user of the system. This is the person I'm logged in as. So this will create an event and associate with that contact. It won't send an invite to the client, so it'll store it here, and I can access those in my activities page. So this is all my outstanding activities. If I was to do a filter by date, then I can do a filter for the current day and see just activities that I need to perform on that particular day. If you want to send an invite out, then you're going to have to create a calendar event, which is slightly different. So if we go into the calendar and if we create a new event here, let's just check whether we can add a CRM contact. So I can select here, contacts, Bob Taylor. So I can do that. Actually, I don't know whether that actually sends out an invite to them in the way you would get when you create an Outlook or a Google calendar event.
Yeah,
So,
I don't think it would do, would it? I think pretty much like Outlook sends the calendar invite and you can accept, pretty much like Google Calendars does. This wouldn't send an invite externally out of the system. It would only send the invite internally to a user that you would invite. So it wouldn't do that. Maybe you could do a process in the CRM where you would send an invite out. I guess it's the approval of the invite, isn't it, that's the difficult part. Whether you can accept the invite or decline the invite.
Yeah, so if you want to, as it stands, if you want to create a calendar invite, you'd need to do that in your other calendar application in Outlook or Google. You can sync though your Outlook or Google Calendar with your Bitrix calendar. So once that event's being created, it will copy into Bitrix. How long do recorded calls get stored in the system for? They get stored for forever, for as long as you've got enough storage space. They'll get stored for you. So if you're on the cloud, you buy packages by. Some of the packages have different levels of storage. The professional has unlimited, so no problems with the professional. If you're on the self-hosted, then you store your calls on your own server system, but they'll get stored indefinitely.
Yeah, exactly as Damien said. So for those of you that don't know where your calls are recorded, if it's to a record in the CRM, you'll be able to see the recording in the actual stream of the CRM contact or company that you call. But if it's to a random person, then you just need to go to telephony, call details at the top, and you'll be able to see any recordings, download or play them live on the system through the call details section here.
Yeah. Is there a dashboard which shows all my live projects? A few different ways you can view this. So projects are found under the workgroups link, so I can see all my projects in here. I can use some of these fields to filter to find the project I'm looking for. It's not really a dashboard, it's just a page showing a list of projects. But if you go into tasks, then there's a few things across the top here which might help you. So one called projects. So this shows me the projects, shows me who's involved in the projects here, shows me the performance, and I think that's an indication of how many tasks are completed within the deadline. It shows me here how many ongoing tasks I've got, how many completed. So see if there's any other fields that you can drop in there. Start and end date as well, we can add start and end date. So a lot of these projects in this demo site don't have data included. This one's got start and end date. So you've got that one. There are some other ones like involvement, which will show you which users are, how many projects individual users are involved with. So you see the users on the left hand side here. Let's have a look in this site here. Got more data in this one. Where's our tasks gone? So we don't have we don't have involvement on that one. It's been removed. Let's, we do hidden down there. Okay. So this will show me which on a Kanban view projects that users are involved with. You can see based on these bars here, start and end dates of those projects. We have supervising. So again, a list of employees and some information about number of tasks and some efficiency indicators there as well. And then we have one called efficiency as well. So you can use these individual graphs. I can drag and drop and move these graphs around to create the layout that I want, and you can define the period that you want to report on, whether that's the current month or current year. You can see just how efficient you are at running those projects. There's quite a few different dashboards. We do quite a lot on self-hosted to create custom dashboards as well. People want very specific information all on one page. You can do that with self-hosted edition.
Okay, I've got a question come through. How do I integrate the live chat widget into my website? I'm just having a few issues. Yeah, so Bitrix has a live chat widget, and it's available in first of all, you need to configure it first. That's the first thing that you should do. And that's in the contact center here. So you click into the contact center, you'll be able to see the live chat widget on here. So you can see live chat. Click on this one. We just need to make sure that the open channel is actually the live chat widget here. And then what we can do is click on configure. So we click on configure. This is the first thing that you need to do when you're setting up the live chat for your website. So you determine who answers those questions and queries from live chat. So you might place the live chat, in this case, on your public facing website. At the moment, John Smith is a person who is going to answer. You can add multiple people in here, so you can determine whether you want to send the chat request to everybody, exactly as in queued, so you can have a number of people here, it goes to one to the next, or you can distribute evenly. And then we have things we can switch the live chat off when you are out of the office. You can have agreements about collecting data, and so on and so forth. You can send a questionnaire at the end of the chat session itself. So this is the first thing that you need to do. Once you're happy with that and you've connected and you've set it all up, click on save, and then you can go into the website widget, and what we can do is add a new widget. And you can see here we can give it a name, so we can say interface.com. And then you'll be able to see here the open channel. So this is where we want to be able to select the live chat widget. As long as you've configured it, it will appear here. So we can set live chat. You can see that the live chat widget is selected, and you can actually configure it from this point as well. If you wanted to display a CRM form, you can select one of the CRM forms that you may have already created. And if you wanted to have a callback request, you would just need to make your CRM form a callback form. So those are the three little channels that we can connect on here. So with the live chat, just make sure you've selected the live chat, and then you can personalize what it looks like on your website. So if we were to go to interface.com here, then you would be able to see what the widget looks like. So this is the live chat widget that's displayed on your website. You can see it pops up. If we were to click on here, you can see the agents that are ready in the queue to actually speak to the person who comes to your website. So this is where your configuration settings are set up and visible in there. So if you can see, click on save. Once you click on save, what you can do is, if you click back into website widget and click on interface.com, all you would need to do is get this widget code. You do need to save it first, copy to clipboard, and whether you've got a website that's built on WordPress, just paste it into the footer template, file template, or if you've got a normal static HTML site, again, just place it into just before the closing body tag of your site, and then that will display on the page that you put it on. It's quite straightforward. You shouldn't have any issues really. If you do, either contact Bitrix support with regards to the issue that you're facing if it's not appearing or there are some settings that are incorrect, or if you do have support with ourselves or another partner, get in touch with a partner.
Yeah, there's our contact details. If you want to get in touch with us at any time for with any questions or for a full demo of the system, we would take down your requirements and as much detail as possible. We'd tailor a demo to suit what you want to see in the system. So we can do that online, or we can do that on site in your office. So get in touch and post your questions in the chat window. We'll stay online as long as we've got any questions to answer. We have got a few more to go through. I'm looking to implement an intranet system. Can Bitrix be customized with our corporate branding? So if we go into, so it depends which system you've got really. Let's go into this standard cloud system. So if you're buying the cloud system on a monthly subscription, then you can change the background here. You can go into your themes and change the background, so you can upload your own background image, so you can put some of your own branding in the background there. And you can change the logo in the settings. Let's have a look. So we can upload a logo, and that will appear at the top left-hand corner here. So I think essentially once you're in the site, you can add all your own branding. If you're on the cloud, you do need to. All users need to access the site through the Bitrix network. So you go to a Bitrix branded page. What I should have said is you can actually change the domain as well. So if you're on most of the commercial packages allow you to point your own domain to the system, so access it through something like portal.yourcompany.com. So you can do quite a lot, but the limitation on the cloud is that you'd have to access it through that Bitrix branded network page. If you go on to the self-hosted, let's go on to this one to show you this. So if you're on the self-hosted, then as well as being able to to host on your own domain, you can design their own login page, or we would design and upload a login page for you. So you can do, you know, something like this. Really do anything you want with the login page. Let's log in again. And again, you can add your logo in here, change your background. With the self-hosted, you can do a bit more in terms of, you can change these widgets. I'll show you that in a second. So you can add some of your own banners on the right hand side. You can do a bit more in terms of menus, especially if you want to invite external users in. You can customize their menus a bit better on the self-hosted. Let's have a look at the extranet area. So this is the extranet area of this self-hosted demo site, and we don't have any logos on here, but as I say, you can add your logo here. You can see that we've only got a few links here, so extranet users have a very simple to use system. But you can add in things like custom banners to this site. We just click into, you can see I'm an admin, so I have this edit mode button at the top, and that allows me to select one of these banners. I can choose where it's linking to. I can change the image as well. So I can control and add and remove those banner items on the right hand side. So there's quite a lot you can do if you have the self-hosted to really make it a fully branded up system. There is no real restrictions on what you can't remove in terms of the branding. I think there is a link down here, copyright link down here referencing Bitrix Inc. So can't remove that part, but everything else that references Bitrix you can remove, provided it's for your own, your own purpose. You're not allowed to resell it as your own product, but if you can rebrand it for your own purpose. So we do a lot of that. That's one of the big reasons why somebody might move from the cloud to self-hosted, to have a fully branded up system.
So I had a question as well come about, how do we get rid of duplicate contacts in the CRM, which is quite a common question that we do get. So obviously in a CRM you do need your data to be cleaned. You might get duplicate leads, you might get duplicate contacts, companies, and so on. So what Bitrix offers is a duplication control function in leads, in contacts, and in companies. And it is actually going to soon be released in deals as well. So that's up and coming, especially on the cloud, I would say, in definitely springtime. So in leads, if you want to remove your duplicates, all you would need to do, click into the little gear icon here, click into duplicate control, and you can see here that we can search. So if we wanted to start the scan here, I don't think we've got too much data in here, but you can see that the number of duplicates that have been found, 11, and total matches for the selected field. So we can merge here, or we can click into we can actually click into the details and see a little bit further what duplicates there are. So name is John Smith. We have a duplicate that is to do with a telephone number. We have duplicates that are to do with email addresses, and all you need to do is you can, if you just come back out of here, actually you can then just click on merge and it would do the merge for you. If you click into contacts, I do believe it's slightly different. If you go into here, click into duplicate control, and in fact you can specify the names here, so full name, phone, email. You might only want to check on email for an example. Click on save, click on start scan here. I don't think we actually have any to merge, but you can see how easy it is to merge the details together. Creates the one entry for that particular contact in this case, so you don't have any duplicates in your system. Like I say, deals is coming. There is no duplication control at the moment, but deals, the duplicate is coming soon.
Okay, how can I customize the quote template in the CRM with my company logo? So let's go back into this site. very easy to customize quote templates now. In fact, templates for invoices as well. So if we go into our quotes, if we open up one of our quotes and select our document from our documents drop down, so we've just got one template in here. Click on add new template. So we have two templates available, with two templates in here, and the easiest thing to do is download the original standard template that exists. We'll download as a Word file, and from there you can change the layout, and some help tips there. If you click on that link, let's just go into let's go back into there, into the settings and fields. So it's here what I was looking for. So you download the document as a Word file, create the layout you want to create, and then select the fields that you want populated on that document from the list of fields here. So things like quote date, obviously will be one you'd want to use. So you can search using the top here to search. There are a lot of fields available, so essentially any piece of data that exists in a quote or any record that's related to a quote, so that's like companies and contacts and deals and things, leads, those are available as data fields for you to be able to add to the template that you're creating. So create that template using those references for the data fields. Re-upload it. You can upload it and override that to create a new template, or rename it, create a new template option for you to select from, and that's it. And then once you've done that, it will be available here. If I click on this, I don't know if we've uploaded anything any good here. No, we've got the standard templates. I think this is the standard template that you get, that you would download. You're going to add in your logo here and address details and things here, and maybe some terms and conditions at the bottom, and move some of these data fields around and delete any that you don't need. Does mean that you can not only create kind of standard quote templates, but also kind of more bulky proposal documents, and you can bring in those data fields into some of the body of the text where appropriate. And yeah, so once you've generated your document, you can download it here with these options, or generate a public link, share that link with somebody to download themselves, send it via email directly from this page, or print it, all the options there that you need. So you can do that on quotes. What else can we do that on? Certainly do it on invoices.
I think you can do it on everything now, can't you?
Go into an invoice, we might have some more options on this one. Just got one there again, but so you can do it on things like deals, can you?
Mm-hmm. I think deals is quite good. We have a couple of our clients that use documents for deals, for generating proposals. So the deals are generally used as opportunities. That's what we tend to class deals as, because you go through a series of different stages to win that opportunity, and during that process, we have clients that have a proposal document, and it pulls in fields from the opportunity straight into the proposal document, and then they can send that out from Bitrix. And also with the documents, if you wanted to, so it might be that we, at the agree fee stage, what we could do is in this automation, is actually create the CRM document automatically. So you can see here the template quote UK. We could have a proposal instead there, and then click on save. And once the deal got to agree fee, then we could convert and create that CRM document automatically rather than having to click on the button.
Yeah, I've got a question here. Is there a way to automatically delete leads after a period of time if they have not progressed into a deal? So that's quite a common requirement. I think you don't want, some businesses don't want lots of leads hanging around for a long time. I think after a period of time those leads go cold, and so you might want to remove them automatically. So let's go into our leads page here and click on the automation rules. So when a new lead is, we need to delete it after a period of time. So we would have to, depending on the stage, I guess we're going to have to so it is possible to delete a lead. So there's a standard process to delete a lead, and we can add into that a time delay. Delete CRM record. So we're setting this on this stage. So essentially, when the lead is new, it's going to delete, but we don't want to delete a new lead immediately, obviously. So we can set in a delay of 5 days there. So this lead will delete in 5 days, provided it's not moved on from the new lead stage.
I think what you could do there as well, couldn't you? You could, instead of having it in 5 days, you could actually say, in fact, can you do after, before the last communication date call? I was just trying to see if you could do it to see if there's been no activity placed on a lead within 5 days. I think we've done that again for a client, haven't we? Mm-hmm. Where if a lead stays in its same state and no activity has been booked on it within those 5 days, then it would delete. Well, it wouldn't delete it. It would move it to the lost leads section. Yeah. We have done that in the business process workflow designer. I think that's quite common, isn't it? If there's no activity.
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite common to have new leads if they're not progressed into one of these further stages for them to delete automatically. Might be that actually, according to the question here, you probably want this action block duplicated across all of these stages. So apart from the qualified stages, any of these sort of in progress stages, you're probably going to want to delete it. If it stays at any of those stages for a period of time, you can choose how to do that. There is another one you can add in here, which might do a similar thing. A control. So instead of actually deleting it, you are going to send a message to a supervisor, or you can select a particular individual there. So you might want to send a message, and then a period of time after that, you might want to delete it. So that's called a control, that one. So that's quite straightforward to set up. Go into the leads section and click in the automation rules in there.
Please do put your questions, pose your questions to us in the chat box on YouTube. We only have a couple more questions which we have to answer, and then if there's no more, we will end the session earlier. So I think I've got another question here that's come through. How do I invite external clients into my projects? Well, it's pretty simple, really. The first thing that you need to make sure is that if we just go into our work groups, when you create a work group, just make sure that you create an external work group or an external project. That will then allow you to invite external users into your system. So if I was to create an external project, at the point of creation, we can invite our external users in. If you have invited them to another project previously, they will be available in here. So you can see Andy Naylor and Verity Clark are external users by the color. So they are usually in a golden color with a little globe icon next to them. So you can invite an external user if they already exist. But the question with being, how do I invite them? I guess they're not already going to exist. So instead, all we would need to do is invite them using their email address in here. You can post a little note to them, which they will receive via email. So they'll receive into their email box this little note. And they'll also receive a link to the portal. That link will then allow them to add their name and their password. Then they'll be able to log in and have access to everything that's inside this project group. So that's how you invite them on a new group. If you were to go into an existing external group, then all you need to do is click on the invite to project. You do need to have permissions to be able to invite them in. But again, it's the same box. You can click on the email, send them a note, click on send invitation, and then they'll receive it and register and click in and log in.
Okay, I've tried to customize the invoice template for our organization. We need bank details as part of the invoice. I've seen that there is a section to add bank details, but even after filling, they don't appear on the invoice. So let's have a look. So we're looking in invoices.
I think what I would recommend doing is just what we've been discussing a moment ago with using the documents. I know what you're referring to. It was used on a previous, pretty old version of Bitrix, but let's see if you can find one here.
I don't know what the field's called, but is it called? I do seem to remember there is one called sort of bank details or something. Details. So you can search for the field in here. So if there's a field that exists in the invoice module called bank details that you can add your bank information into, should be available in here to then add the short code to your invoice to pull that data in. I think the thing with bank details, obviously they're not. There doesn't need to be a dynamic field. They're not like to change too much. So you can download the template as a Word document and just write those in. So they don't change. But I guess if you found a field called bank details, which I know exists, and it's not, but you can't find the reference to it, it's a bit frustrating. So I don't know. When I searched there are something like 5,000 different references in there that you can choose from. When I put bank in, it didn't select it, but. So
I would definitely recommend hard coding them into the document template in the Word document themselves. I think that would be the right thing to do.
Yeah. Or if you want to get in touch with us, we can probably help you with it if it needs to be dynamic, so that when you change that bank details field, it changes on the invoice. We can look into it for you.
I think I know which one you're referring to. You're referring to payment options, payment systems, and then in your bank transfer for companies, bank transfer for contacts, it's in here that you're referring to. But this was used on the old invoice system, invoice PDF generator. That's where this was used. But now they've introduced the new Word document tool. That's what's going to be
right. So it's not a field in the invoice module then, so it won't be available to add to your. It won't be available to add to your invoice.
It's used for the use print form here. If you click on invoice, it should. This is with regards to like the old PDF generation. When you print, download this PDF here, then this is what would show on here. It's sort of the old. You can see bank details is based on what is found where we were a moment ago. It's not relevant to this new document generation tool, so I would recommend hard coding it into your Word document.
Yeah. Can you explain how the list module should be used in projects? Is this for storing data? So, yeah, absolutely. Let's go into a project group. Where's our projects? Work groups, and choose one of these work groups. So you have an option here called lists. Can you explain how the list module should be used in projects? So it can be used in lots of different ways. It is, as you say, for storing data. So it's a way to create a table of data, and there's ways to filter that table to find the information you're looking for, and you can also run business processes on that. So a good example might be in this one we've got assets. So if you have to list some materials that you want to link to that project, you can do that here. If we go back into Here, expenses also is a good example for this. So if you need to record all those sort of travel and accommodation expenses associated with the project, you can allow people to access this page, add their own expense item in here, and unfortunately we've got one, so I can't show you how the filter works, but it would allow you to filter by employee, like this, filter by date ranges as well, and things like that. You could also, if you're using a process as part of the expenses, you could have a field in here that right, let's have a quick look. We've got some time. I think we've got another one here that does this already. Yeah, not too sure it is. Let's see if it's in here. No, not too sure it is. So let's just go back into here. So I mean, I can show you how you can run a process on this. So you can add an additional user can add an additional expense item here. It will automatically trigger. So if we've got one here, no, but we can create it. It will automatically trigger an approval process sent to a finance or an HR person who then chooses to approve it or not, and then you'll get it. You can have a field in here which is a sort of approval status field, and it can say pending or approved when approved. So you can tie that process in, and then you can update the record when that approval process has completed. It's quite easy to add firstly fields. So these are the fields we've got. If we wanted to add a status field, we can do that. It's going to be a list, because we're going to have pending, and we're going to have approved, and if we go back, we can show that status field in our list here, and then I won't set it up now, but you would create a workflow as well, and we want a state-driven workflow here, and we call it approval. You tick this one that says when added, so that would run this process whenever someone adds a new item to the list. And then I've added a stage. I want sequential, but I'll not do it now. But you can create then using a standard action block an approval request. Once you've set that up, it's quite simple to set up. If you want to get in touch with us, we can show you how to set it up. Once that's set up, your line manager or the finance manager will see their approvals in their workflows link at the top here. If I click into here, see what this page looks like. See, we've got one, approve expenses. Please approve the following expenses. Flight, $500. So which group that one's in. Don't know how we find that out. Let's have a look. IT project team. So let's just have a quick look in here. So we have one already set up in this work group called expenses, and you can see here all the different items that have been submitted, and you can see the status of them. Some are approved, some are pending, and as I say, those approval or pending statuses are based on whether I accept or refuse this request for expenses. We accept that one. So that's that's one example of how you would use it in projects. For recording expenses, you can record assets. You can just record any sort of tables of data that you need to, that you might do currently on a spreadsheet. It might work better in Bitrix because you've got this option to do quite good filtering. So you can filter by, let's filter just by pending items here, status, pending. I might only want to see pending items because approved are not of interest to me, so you can just see those ones which are outstanding. So you can do that filtering, you can have those automatic business processes running. You can also run processes here. If you had a list of processes here, you can choose for a process and automatically trigger a process. It might be that you want to put an item in here and then submit it for approval, for maybe a purchase request or something like that. I think we've done something like that for businesses before. List of items, materials they need to purchase for a project, like a requisition form, and they add their requisition, and then they run their process to request that purchase, that expense. So different ways you can do it. Just essentially a table of data with a filter with business processes in the background. So there's our contact details on the screen, and we don't have any more questions, but if you've got any, you can post them quickly in the chat box. Otherwise, if you subscribe to us on YouTube, then you get notifications when we go live. It is same time every week at 3 o'clock New York time, and
10 a.m. New York
10
time.
a.m. New York time, 3 o'clock in the UK. And in addition to that, we have webinars on Mondays. If you go to Bitrix24.com, you can register for those webinars. We are Bitrix24 Gold partners called Interface. We're based in the UK, and the US, and the UAE, and we handle pre-sale support, including demos and discussions about your requirements, and then implementation and training, and we have a telephone support package as well. So doesn't look like we have any more questions, so we'll wrap it up. Thanks for your time.